Good morning. Good morning. I see that we have some folks here. Can you raise your hand if you can hear me? Gotcha. Okay, we've got a couple people that are dropping in. Okay, y'all can hear me. This is great. Okay, let's wait a little longer and we will let everyone get in. Okay, I'm all about starting on time. We tried this last year. We had a lot of issues. So hopefully we've worked out the kink of the issues. My name is Conchetta Scribo. I am with the Coalition for the Homeless. You'll know me as the coordinator for this Phase 37 Emergency Food and Shelter Program at the Coalition. We are going should be our last year at hosting these competitions. We are working on transitioning this over to a new agency. So for all those, the documents that you'll see a couple different points of contact. The board has approved for us to move this to a different agency, which will be ACAM, which is Alliance of Community Assistance Ministries. So we will talk more about that, but however, everything will remain the same for this application. They are simply shadowing. And then when phase 37 kicks off, they will be taking it over. So I believe that the Alliance of Community Assistance Ministries representative is here. So at some point towards the middle of going through this application document, I will take him off of mute, let him introduce himself to you, and go over anything that I might have missed. We are just simply going to go over the application. Should be fairly quick and easy, and then open it up for questions if there are any. Give ACAM a chance to talk, and then to at least greet or cover up wherever I might have missed, and go from there. So let's get this kicked off. So as you'll see, we are currently at Coalition for the Homeless, website, which is homelesshouston.org. This is a very hard and not user-friendly website, so I apologize for that. However, it should be fixed. So as you know, you should have joined our mailing list to get notified about funding opportunities. So if you haven't, please make sure that all appropriate people at your agency are signed up here. This is how all communications regarding any funding opportunities besides just EFSP will be shared. So moving on to more specific things, if you scroll down to Continuum of Care and click Continuum of Care, it will load. If it does. Okay, you'll see funding because that is exactly what we are looking for. We are looking for funding opportunities here. We are not in the fastest. It's Monday for this internet. Okay, you'll see around here, there are different sections. So this is just a great resource to go to. We'll have coalition and local funding opportunities. Partners opportunities might be there. Future other agencies might have theirs posted there. Opportunities. So just become very familiar with this section of the website. We are just not dealing with the fastest internet today, so I apologize. Okay. So you'll see that these are coalition ones. So then we go to local funding. I'm just making you a little familiar with this. Oh my word. Really struggling with the internet today. Okay, so you'll see phase 37, all information's right here. So right here, there's all the information surrounding phase 37. Also, if you're currently operating EFSP, there are some quick reference guides for the sections. A lot of y'all send me emails and eventually ACAM, but this is a great resource for y'all to go straight to, and it'll tell you what's eligible, what's not. So let's go over the competition overview. So if you click this attachment, it will download this document. Okay, so like I said, coordinating agency points of contact. We are the coalition, we are running this. However, Alliance of Community Assistance Ministries is going to be taking it over eventually. There is a generic email, efsp@acamweb, but just in an effort to make sure that we are shadowing each other and not leaving anyone out to dry. If you could copy both of us, we will happily answer your questions. The application submission email is application@homelesshouston.org. Please know it, please love it. All applications will be submitted electronically to that. Eligible activities are food, other food, mass shelter, rent mortgage, and utility assistance. Nothing's changed there. As you know, we coordinate services within our jurisdiction. So if you receive EFSP funds in phase 37 for activities of mass shelter, rent, mortgage, and or utility assistance, you are required to use HMIS. We will talk about that in a bit. However, HMIS is the management system that all of these activities must go. So that will require training and access and good data. So please know that you will be held accountable to that. So mass shelter, that is new for y'all this year. For EFSP. However, all shelters in our continuum of care currently enter into HMIS. So there should be nothing different between EFSP funds or any other. So we will go on to how you do that. But as you see, any local agencies that receive funds for these activities must participate in HMIS and must enter within 48 hours of that service provision. We'll go to the HMIS section of our website to register for trainings and establish those programs. However, those that are specifically identified as domestic service providers are exempt from this requirement. However, you should use a comparable database for these activities as necessary. So, as you know, EFSP was created in 1983 to supplement and expand the work of local service agencies. This is to allow agencies that currently have these activities to serve more people. This is not to run a program from the ground up. I am going to reiterate this because this is supposed to help you serve more clients that you already serve. This is not to start a program from the ground up. So please know that applications for funding must equal at least $10,000. So that is not $10,000 per activity. That is saying if you apply for 3 different activities, such as rent, mortgage, and utility, all 3 of those activities must total to equal up $10,000. It is not worth us to manage another agency if they are not receiving at least $10,000. For phase 37, they have set an expectation that any agencies awarded rent and mortgage assistance will be required to provide service equal to 1 month's rent or mortgage. Please use FMR to correctly estimate how to do that. All of those have been linked. As you know, we are trying to get ahead of the allocations for our community. So while phase 37 has not been awarded yet, we hope that once it is and allocations are identified, we'll be able to hit the ground running closer to what the start date is. So EFSP the past couple of years has changed the game on us. What used to happen is the day after one phase would end, another phase would begin. That being the case, that has not happened in the past 3 years. They've been running phases concurrently. So it's our expectation that if phase 37 acts as, let's say, phase 33 did, it will start on April 1st. However, if phase 37 does not act like that, there is a chance that the dates could be extended, started earlier. So it's our expectation that we will be given, once that allocation is made, we'll have the competition complete and able to ensure a quicker award because we're not going through the entire procurement process like we are now. So if during the competition you feel like a decision was made unjustly, there's a posted grievance procedure. I'll show you that within the competition documents, and will be responded to accordingly. So this year changed a little bit. We do not have funding priorities identified in the sense of we only want to fund A, B, and C projects. We want to fund A, B, and C allocations for activities. So as you'll see, the local board decided that the allocations for food, homelessness prevention, which is mortgage, rental, and utility assistance, and emergency shelter, all of those are the eligible activities. We will be applying those allocations to all applications. So our target allocation is 30% of our jurisdiction award to food, 50% of our jurisdiction award to mortgage, rent, and utility, 18% to emergency shelter, and 2% will be specific to administration only for the coordinating agency. Okay? So each of your applications will receive 1 score. And you will be evaluated against everybody that are applying within these categories. So if you received an 80 on your application, you would be an 80 in food, an 80 in homeless prevention, and an 80 in emergency shelter. So that means that you could receive all of food if you scored high. You could receive all of or less of emergency shelter if you scored low. We can talk more about that in a bit. We will also, this is new this year again, to ensure the full utilization of the EFSP funding allocation, there will be an expectation of quarterly performance and expenditure reports that will allow us to figure out if reallocations between different LROs is required. Therefore, if you're not meeting targets or spending down, it will be moved. Okay? So, keeping on, phase 37, important dates. So, March 1st, 2020, that's what we said, expected start date. The applications were posted electronically last week. We are now at the GoToWebinar. The last day for TA is Wednesday. So, any questions that you have, we've given you almost 2 weeks with the application. We're here to answer some questions today. And then we'll finish up that by by Wednesday. Applications are due via email, again, to the very email at application@homelesshouston.org by 12 p.m. Early submissions are encouraged. Late applications will not be reviewed. The timestamp on the recipient email will serve as the official time of submission. Therefore, if you think that you will not, you will have some bounce back issues, whatever, feel free to send all of your application one by one, but usually that's not necessary. They're not very large applications with attachments. So please ensure early submissions. So during that time, we will be looking to make sure that all required documents are submitted. Any missing documents will be due by 12 p.m. on December 17th. So we will let you know if you are missing any documents. But we're not looking to see if you have sent over a full and entire document. This could be, I'm not looking to see if you scanned only the front pages. I am looking to see if you have an application and if it's on the right format, and then that's it. I am not evaluating and reading your applications to make sure that they are full, complete, correct applications. Incomplete applications will not be reviewed. So if after the time that you have been told that you are missing documents, you still do not submit something, you will not be reviewed. We expect awards to be announced in February of 2020. However, there is a high probability that EFSP will not have announced our jurisdiction by this date. So if this is the case, we could be offering contingent award letters and a contingent award announcement. However, we might also just be holding that tight until that allocation is officialized. So there are 6 parts to this application, which we will go through. You will have a cover page, an application, your current board roster, a program level budget, which will be in Excel. Everything else will be PDF. This will be Excel. A program level organization chart, and your most current audit or financial statement. This is how you will go. When you will submit this complete proposal application to ACAM and the coalition at application@homelesshouston.org. You will be with the subject line of EFSP Phase 37 application, and if your agency ABC, LRO 10, you'll be EFSP Phase 37 application, agency ABC, LRO 10. Now, it would help us tremendously if you could save your documents in this format. So for the cover page, if you could save the document as ABC LRO 10, see what this? If Coalition for the Homeless was applying, we are LRO 95, I would send 4 documents that have this nomenclature: a cover page, application for funding, board roster, budget, and org chart. We are receiving a lot of applications, so it would really help us if you could get this nomenclature right. Now, if you are applying and you have never received EFSP funds, just use your agency's initials and kind of do it like that, like a little acronym that would identify your agency. just like it says here. Agency, exactly like that. Okay. So y'all can feel free to type questions over here in the chat box so that way I can get them because I know everybody's on mute. So that is the competition overview. Now I'm going to go through the cover form. Again, this is pretty easy, you'll figure out if you are jurisdiction 782800 or 843200. If you are applying to both jurisdictions, you can apply for the same thing, but you need to send in 2 separate applications. Each application will only be reviewed for the jurisdiction that you are applying for. Let me say that again. So if you are applying for 2 jurisdictions, you will need to send in 2 applications. We will only review each application per 1 jurisdiction. Jurisdiction 782800 is Harris County and Fort Bend County in Houston. As far as Waller County, y'all are 843200. So moving on, you'll go through the legal name. This is all pretty typical cover letter information. Make sure you have your date of last audit. All of this is typable, so it's a form you should be able to write just like I showed you. It's a very, very simple. And then you'll need to get a signature right here. So if y'all have digital signatures, that's fine, but please make sure you get that. So that is the cover form. That is just giving us the basic information. If something goes on here that I need information from, I'm going to go to the grant application contact. So if there is anything about the application that is wrong, I am going to the grant application contact or replying to where the application came from. So that's how that's going to go. That is the cover letter. Okay. Now we have the application. This is saved as uploaded as a Word doc so that you have it for easier editing, but you will submit as a PDF. So please be aware of that. Please make sure you are reading the directions here, that you are limited to no longer than 2 pages. Anything that you submit beyond the expectation for some of these areas will not be included in or review. So agency information, no longer than 2 pages. Give us a brief history, the date of incorporation, length of time, description of programs you currently offer, length of time that you have offered emergency assistance, how much do you currently have experience with, funding sources, have you ever had monitoring issues? We also need your history of HMIS. Okay, moving on. This is your project information, no longer than 3 pages. Provide your statement of need. This should include, now, we are evaluating your projects based off of how well you can follow directions. You will need to include these sections. We are looking for them. So, a description and number of projects that you currently serve, and then how many people you will serve if you receive the additional funds. Please note that we want to know what you currently serve and then will serve with these funds. Your current need and impact of EFSP activities in your community. A lot of y'all are community agencies. How your organization differs from similar providers. Partnerships and collaborations that you currently have that can enhance effectiveness. How do you refer clients out? What are those services? How do you please expand on how you have maintained this partnership? And if you can get letters of support from those agencies, that would be an additional but not a required attachment. Okay. No questions so far. This is a really important one, so please listen closely. Explain how EFSP funds will be used to supplement and extend existing food and shelter activities, how you will be used to increase the number of clients served, and enhance the services. So basically, and I go into clarification here, but this is where our board receives wildly different responses from everybody. So if you are able to have, with the current funding that you have, you can only have 10 shelter beds a night. That's all I can offer. I only have 10. So I would say I can currently support 10 shelter beds without EFSP money. However, if I receive this money, I will have 15 shelter beds. I have a need of 30. I currently can only serve 10, but with this money, I can serve 5 more. That's what we want to know here. Tell us what this impact on your current need this would have. We don't want to fund projects that cannot delineate where this money is going on their and where this impact is needed. Okay? We also need to know that you have homeless or formerly homeless involvement. This is pretty normal for all public funding. Then we're going to go into the financial statement. Of course, this is an Excel spreadsheet, so I'll show that in a second. We also want to know your intake activities. Tell us the steps. We want to know when you operate, what required documentation do you require from the clients? How is your EFSP assistance stabilizing? We don't want to help people for a day. We want to help them and support them for their lives, and we'll not just give them that Band-Aid. We want to make sure that they are mended. So that most likely will require some outside partnerships and outside referrals. So let's make sure that we are getting a good picture of where you are sending these clients to. Also, if you are applying for mass shelter or served meals, you'll need to give us this information. And that is the application. But again, please remember, no longer than 2 pages for this section. No longer than 3 pages for this section. So we're at 5, 6, 7 page application. So if you submit 8, there will not be pages of your application reviewed. So please be aware. Okay. Done with that section. Now we have the project budget. I realize there's an error right there. I said March 1st on the program overview, but actually I believe that phase 36 will go through March 31st. So these are the right dates here. So please disregard. I will have to correct that. So be aware. So what we want to know is how we can evaluate your program and how much money you are asking for. So this is your program level budget. These are the activities that you can apply for. Mass shelter, rent mortgage, utility assistance, food, served meals, and other food. So this is your non-EFSP service units, and this is the cost of a non-EFSP service unit. So as you know, the local board chooses to max out the rate of food and mass shelter. So these are rates that are already decided on and you cannot adjust. So like I said, using my example before, you're saying you have 10 shelter beds, okay? And you're gonna ask for 5 more. So this is saying I wanna add 5 more at a cost of $12.50. My EFSP funds request is $62. But that also shows that 33% of my program operations would be EFSP funded. That's for you to decide, but if that's too much, right? That's something to just be evaluate of, does that look, should we ask for less? Because like I said, this should extend and supplement your programs. This should not fund an entire program. So if you all of a sudden have 100% over here, that looks as if you depend on EFSP service funds to fund your entire project. And let me tell you, that does not pass the kosher test. So it would not be, it would not score well. So let's say you have 200 beds every night and you actually want to ask for 100 more. Let's say we have 500 beds every night. See how that all works? It naturally is calculating this. So then we also deal with people who come in and have rent mortgage. That's expensive. We usually can, on an average, give everyone, because, you know, rent and mortgage can wax and wane. We're going to say we give everyone $750, and we usually serve about 100 clients a year. Okay. So we're saying we actually, this average is moving over here. We are very understanding of the fact that that could wax and wane. But you're going to say, I actually want to serve 25 more people. Excuse me. Then we also have the same 100 people come in for utility and assistance. And let's say that their average on their bills on average equal $200. We also want to serve 25 more people with that. And there's my ask. I am currently asking for $25,000 for EFSP funds. Sorry, both of those say EFSP. When you come over here, you will see very clearly that I'm asking for mass shelter. So I could get mass shelter. Activity 2, I'm applying for rent mortgage. And activity 3, I'm applying for utilities. Let us know what that includes. So for mass shelter, also pretty easy. Bed support. Then we have rent, mortgage, supports, FMR for up to 25 families, whatever you want to say. Give us some narrative description of how you got to these numbers, just to give us a roundabout. Okay, so this will show that my application met threshold because I'm over $10,000. I'm applying for $25,000 of EFSP funds. And there we go. That's your program level budget. And you will send that to me in an Excel document. You don't need to worry about putting that to a PDF. Okay, that is it for me. I am going to go over here, see if I can unmute Josh, who is the representative for ACAM, and give us 1 second. Josh, I believe that you are unmuted. Do you have anything to add or clarify?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Great. I can't think of anything to add right now other than just to say thank you, one, for the work you're doing, Conchetta. We are excited to be coordinating this in the future. And as you mentioned, you can still find the information on our website as well. Yeah, that's really all I can think of to add. You've done such a great job overviewing all of this.
Awesome. Well, okay, ladies and gentlemen, this should be recorded. It will take a while to come and be downloaded. Again, all questions need to be sent. If you could email them both to Josh, which it's ACAM. If you go back to the overview, there are the two contact emails. So it's cscurbo and EFSP at ACAM Web. If you have any questions, please get those in no later than Wednesday. And we look forward to reading all of your applications and the impact that you will have on our community. So thank you very much for your time this morning. And we look forward to hearing more from you. Bye-bye.